What keeps you hungry?
I am hungry. I think what it is I think everybody is born with hunger. Like there's a desire to grow, to expand, to learn, and then disappointment sets in early in life for most people. And then we look to blame something outside of ourselves. And there are many events in our lives that can affect us all. We've all had pain and challenges. But I think if you can find within yourself the part of you that wants to constantly give something more than yourself, if you can find a mission larger than yourself, then you're more pulled to do something than trying to push yourself. And pull has much more power than push. I always say motive does matter. That if your motive is to serve something greater, there is an energy that comes up inside of you. So I feed 2 million people a year because somebody fed my family when I was 11 years old, and now this year we're feeding 4 million. I want to do more in that area. And every business I'm in, that drive just doesn't go away. Leverage is critical. You know how I get so much done? Because I don't just get it done. I know the outcome, I know the purpose, and I look for leverage. Leverage is different than delegation. What's the problem with delegation? Delegation is you have all that needs to be done, so you give it to someone else, and you tell them what needs to be done, and when they don't do it, you're pissed off. Leverage says, I can move the biggest boulder in the world with a little bit of effort if I get something I can do it with, but I'm still part of it. So leverage is, if I'm going to leverage something here with Tom, I'm going to make sure Tom understands the what? The outcome. I want to make sure Tom understands the purpose, the why, and the action. But I might say to Tom, if you can get this done without this action or better action, go for it, baby. And I want to talk to you on this date, and we got to promise, and we're going to check in before it's needed. So there's no surprises. And if you're having problems, Tom, come back to me because we're partners on this. That I call leverage. And you know what I do when I have no time? There is time. I just got to leverage it. You know what I'm saying? I have no one to leverage it to. You know, Shane over here, right? I got all the stuff he wants to do, can't leverage it. But Shane's answer was, hire somebody, then he thinks about what it's going to take and goes, $125,000, can't do that now. He's getting caught up in one way to get the outcome. Leverage. He goes through his list and goes, what if I got somebody to do 20% of this stuff? I could spend 20 grand to get that much freedom. I could pay for it times 10. And if I'm really productive, my productivity should enhance the world, not only my clients and customers, but it should provide jobs for other people. And if there's anything you hate to do, it's because you're either ineffective at it or you don't think it's very important, but it is urgent. So you need to hire somebody for those things. And ideally, somebody who loves that job. You're never going to grow when your time is eaten up for activities that aren't that important. Activity without high levels of purpose is the drain of your fortune. Do it now. If you can't get it all now, do a part of it now. Leverage is power. Leverage is ultimate power.
When I was 25 years old, my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, said, show me your current financial plan for the future. And of course, I didn't have one. He said, well, this would be a good time to lay out a good financial plan for the future, what to do with your money. And I came up finally with the 70, 10, 10, and 10. Don't spend more than 70% of your income. 10% for church or charity. 10 cents active capital, buy and sell, see if you can make a profit. And 10% for passive capital, let somebody else use your money. Pay you interest, dividends, stock increase, whatever. It's a pretty good plan, 70, 10, 10, and 10. A lady in Mexico the other day said, I heard your plan 10 years ago, I followed it. She said, I'm now a millionaire. I own 2 different properties because you also said don't buy the second car until you've bought the second house. It's not cars that make you rich. It's real estate that makes you rich. She said, I'm now about to buy the 3rd house, so I'm now giving myself the luxury of buying the 3rd car. Simple little ideas. And she said, I followed the 70, 10, 10, and 10, taught it to other people. They're following it and getting great results. One thing I didn't know when I was growing up and found out at age 25, that you could work both on your living and your fortune at the same time if you had a good plan. Don't just work on your living, work on your fortune. Work on becoming financially independent. Financial independence is the ability to live from the income of your personally invested resources. And the day you can finally do that, what's exciting about that is that now you can work for joy and not for necessity. And strangely enough, you probably work a lot harder for joy than you do for necessity. I have a unique friend He started an enterprise, and by the time he had it up and running about 2.5, 3 years, he didn't have to work anymore the rest of his life. So now he's financially independent. But then he created a vast fortune, that next 20 years of his life, simply because he was working for joy and not for necessity. So get to that position as quick as you can. So I'm now teaching, work both on your living and your fortune. The reason for earning a living is to make a fortune, not necessarily from your living, but from what you earn, invested wisely. I talked to a lady the other day. She said, "Mr. Rohn, I'm in real estate." I said, "Wonderful. How many properties do you own?" She said, No, I sell real estate." I said, "Well, let me ask you one more time. How many properties do you own?" Finally got the message across. I said, "The reason for selling real estate is to earn the money to buy real estate. If you sell real estate, you make a living. If you buy real estate, you make a fortune." She said, "I got the message." So don't buy the second car till you've bought the second home.
Responsibility to me is it's about understanding and knowing that you have the power to control your destiny, that it's about living your life from a place of creation, that most people go through life doing what I call living their lives as volunteer victims. When you take responsibility for your life, it's about knowing that you have to develop yourself, that you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. You have to develop your mind, you have to develop your skills, you have to have a talent, ability that you are cultivating so that you can create value for the world with what it is you have, with your gift. There are three primary reasons that most people don't, in my estimation, achieve their greatness. And one is that most people don't know what they have going for them. For years, I did not do what I'm doing now because I didn't believe in myself. The second reason is most people don't know how to earn money using their talents, their abilities, their skills, and their gifts. And the third reason is that most people don't know how to gain access to the people that will pay them for what they know. So as entrepreneurs, one, we have to believe in ourselves, and that's an ongoing process, engaging in things that will help us to believe in ourselves, because we are cultivated in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential. And so faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so we have to constantly go to seminars, go to workshops, listen to audio programs, and read books that will help to expand our vision of ourselves, of what's possible for us. And the other thing is that's very important is working to expand your skill set, to develop your skills, to take your skills to the next level. And the other thing that's important is having relationships with people that you can learn from, that you can grow from, people that will challenge you and that will cause you to raise the bar on yourself and hold you accountable to a higher standard.
Who have been the best speakers, coaches, mentors you know for yourself?
When I think in terms of mentors, I think in terms of Mr. Leroy Washington, who was a high school teacher of mine, who told me, "Mr. Brown, develop your mind and develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are." I admired his communication skills. He's a speech and drama instructor when I was in high school. The other was Dr. Anthony Sweeting, that he and I now work together. We were raised together as kids, and he's a great orator and has such raw talent, ability, and power. I admire him. And Mike Williams, who's been a strategist and has taught me the value of having content as well as the skill to deliver a message that will empower people. Those have been the greatest mentors for me in terms of my style and what I deliver and the experience that I create when I'm speaking to an audience.
You are one of the greatest speakers in the world.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say that.
Yeah, I'm really sure about it.
Okay, thank you.
Who are, in your opinion, the other greatest speakers in the whole world?
Living right now, President Barack Obama. I mean, he has not only skill and knowledge, but there's a warmth and there is an ability to speak strategically that combine audiences. Whenever you're speaking to an audience, you're addressing audiences inside of each audience. People are separated in groups in an audience by age, by income, by position, by title, and by the money that they earn and their education. And so he has the ability to create a committed listening. with divergent mindsets and political views and religious views. He's able to unify people with his passion, with his energy, but also he is a strategic, experiential speaker. And what I mean by that is that he's strategic. He knows how to use stories and statistics to drive a point home, and he knows how to create an experience. People forget 90% of what they hear, but we have emotional memory. And so when you are able, and I'm a speech instructor, I teach people how to become strategic, experiential storytellers. When you're able to communicate and connect with an audience, one of the things that's very important is that you never make a point without a story. You never tell a story without a point. And so using stories that stick, that people can see within the context of that story, whoa, I can do that. I can make that happen. I can do more, to inspire people, to transform their mind, to expand their skill set, and to invite them to become a part of a community of greatness, to me is what a great speaker does. And that's what President Barack Obama did when he was running for office, and he said, change we can believe in. He was inviting people to become a part of a vision, a community of thinking that the world as it is now, we don't have to accept it, that we have the power to change it. Today, I think he's one of the greatest orators on the planet. Former President Bill Clinton is a very powerful communicator. I mean, to this day, I admire hearing him speak and the sound that he has, the warmth in which he conveys. Former President Al Gore is a very effective communicator. I love the richness of his voice and how commanding that sound is, and his ability to sell a vision and to orchestrate and be the drum major for a mission to make people aware of global warming. So when we look at all of the communicators today, I think President Barack Obama, former President Al Gore, and former President Bill Clinton, I think they're at the top of the game for me.
I had never taken a business class. I'd never worked in fashion or retail, and I had $5,000 in savings. I just moved out of my mother's house. I was 27 years old, and I was probably dating a loser at the time. So there you have it. There I was. And I wanted to wear these pants. I didn't know where to go, so I decided I've got to get this made. I went on the internet, and I started looking up hosiery mills. And I went to a website called thomasregistry.com, which lists all manufacturers in the United States. Now it's called thomas.net. But they listed it for me, and lucky for me, most of the hosiery manufacturers are in North Carolina. Well, I was in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. So I started picking up the phone and calling all these manufacturers and introducing myself over the phone. And I couldn't get the right person on the phone. People kept transferring me around. I mean, I imagine on the other end of the line them saying, there's a girl on the line, so she's going to transform her own butt. Like, which department am I supposed to send her to? Everyone kept either hanging up on me saying, no thanks, it's not a good idea. So I believed in my own idea enough, though, that I realized, okay, I want to patent this. I may be having some difficulty right now getting someone to help me make the idea, but I want to protect it. So I went and looked up on the internet Martindale Hubbell, which is a website that lists attorneys, and they will tell you the ranking and sort of the rating next to them. I started looking for a female patent attorney in the state of Georgia, and I couldn't find one. So I called the Georgia Chamber of Commerce, and I introduced myself, said I'm looking for a female patent attorney, and they told me that there actually was not a female patent attorney in the state of Georgia at the time. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go describe this to a man and we'll see what happens. And I went on the website, I picked 3 different law firms. I cold called each law firm. I put on my nicest suit from selling fax machines that I had. I had my lucky red backpack that was with me the entire journey of Spanx. And I went and met with them. Well, they all quoted me between $3,000 and $5,000 to patent it, and I had $5,000 set aside in my savings to do this. So I decided to patent it myself. Well, the attorney that ended up helping me at the very end of this process, he admitted to me that when I came to him with the idea, that he thought my idea was so bad when I met with him, that he actually thought I had been sent by Candid Camera. which completely makes perfect sense because as I was sitting in the room explaining it to him, he kept looking around the room, and he later said to me, he said, Sara, I really have to tell you, I either thought you were sent by Candid Camera or that I was being pranked by some of my guy friends because, you know, you whipped out the pantyhose, you're showing me the crotch and where you cut these and how you're gonna change the world. And he's like, I wasn't used to that.